Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Life Stories. We continue with the story of Herbert Mbowe, 26-year-old who got burnt in a building while at work. It is said that there is no love like a mother's love, and it is proved in the darkest of moments. When everybody has given up, when everybody cannot take it anymore, a mother will still be there. Kakati ani akunaaza?
Akageri kesi kyalina nnyo ennaaba. Kati emikono gisobola okugira naye mamange oyo era oluusi yannaaza ebigere bino.
Watuuka nga ew'okunaaza tekumpi tewakyaliwo wonna biwundu?
Wonna biwundu. Byonna mukadde wange ono yabikolako.
Herbert was lucky to have an employer who gave him a hand, being that Herbert got to this state in the course of duty. But what is the reality in practice? What about that unlucky employee? What does the law say? Amalwaliro gy'obadde ebbanga lyonna ly'omaze bakujjanjaba bulumi bwonna obuliwo. Waliwo enkolagana yonna wakati wo n'eyali mukamaawo ku mulimu gye wajjiira?
Enkolagana yange ne mukama wange simbi n'akatono. Olw'ensonga mukama wange n'akajja bwe nti mukama wange yalina ebidongo bye ng'ayina buli kimu, yalina ebbaala byasirira ne bisirikka. Yasobola okuva ku byonna n'ajja mu ddwaliro gye ndi n'andaba era yabuuza abasawo naye omuntu ono nga yandaba sawa yonna ayongera kwepika, ayongera kuzimba, alaba amaaso gazibye, sikyasobola kwogera bulungi. Musawo omu kyava amugamba singa mwongera okumusuza wano olunaku agenda kubaafa, wabula musaleewo mukole ki, mudduse emulago. Omwami oyo yakwata ssente n'asasula ambulensi.
Bambi
asasula ambulensi n'apangisa n'abaŋŋenderako okundabirira kuba mama wange yali takyali muntu. Enkeera yakwata ekkubo n'ajja emulako. Era okumanya ye yandinako obuvunaanyizibwa ne mu kusalawo okunsalaka n'akamiro bwe baabuuza. Yeebuuza mukwano gwange muweeyo, nagaye naye ku lw'obulamu kamumuweeyo, ekiba kyekimutta eki afe.
akamiro nga bakasala nga bagenda kukola ki?
Baali balina okuteekawo payipu nali sikyassa.
Baaba
bateekawo payipu nali nzisiza.
Yeebale kukola buvunaanyizibwa.
Yakolera ddala omulimu, sirina kyenyinza mwogerawo.
Akati ayagala okuyamba akukwatirako atya?
Kyensaba maama, bwe wabaayo muzira kisa yenna ebiwundu biringa ebitannajjanjabibwako, nsaba ku buyambi nsobole okuba nga buli lwe ŋŋenda mu ddwaliro ssente ezo zibaawo. Kuba buli wemba nti nina okgenda mu ddwaliro ne sigenda, ebiwundu bino biruusi biddamu. Liri eddagala lyokyawo, liba liweddemu
liba lifulumye nga bw'onnyonnyodde.
Neryokya ate awawonye kuba kati liro gwange awawonye era olususu akasusu kabaawo katono, kale tekigaana ddagala eryo kwokyawo. So ne maama wange sente ziweddewo, takyasobola apangisa enju, okulya buli lunaku byendya, nga omanya ffe batukkiriza okulya ebintu bingi. Omuntu omu oyinza okumpi okukwata mu mutwalo mulamba.
Kakati munnange onansonyiwa okubuuza naye kati olowooza ki muli?
Nnyabo nalowooza netuuka ekiseera ebyokulowooza ne binzigwako.
Ebikuggwako.
Olw'ensonga ebiwundu bino oyinza obirowooleza kye bitali kuba omwaka mulamba ojjanjaba biwundu ojjukira obulumi bw'oyiseemu emulago nakakati bwebukyali.
Teweekubagiza nnyo, ojja kuba bulungi ate omwaka gw'osobodde okumalawo. Abalwala bawona, emulago tewabalaba munnange. Abantu bulijjo balwala naye bawona. You're still watching Life Stories. We are right at the scene where Herbert got burnt. This is the first time in a whole year that Herbert has come back to get face to face with the place where his life almost ended. So Herbert is going to be telling us what exactly happened, what he remembers, because the place has changed a little bit. But he's going to tell us what exactly happened, and you know, we get the feel of what he went through. So, kakati Herbert, chichi wano omuliro gwava wanganda bawazimbe.
Olaba wenajjira wennyini bazimbirawo ddala ekizimbe ekya bulooka, so bino byaliwo ebiti mu kusooka na bino bazzaawo bizza. Wano wonna waakwata omuliro naye nga wenajjira mundaawo oyingiraawo.
Ndowooza tokyayagala na kutunulayo.
Saagalira ddala. Oba buli wentunulawo ekifaananyi ky'omuliro ekyo kinzijira. Nimba nga ate nnyongera okukosebwa.
Kale tugende mpola mpola.
Kale nnyo.
Weebale nnyo kwogera munnaffe.
Neyanzizza nnyo.
Onaatambula mpola oba nkuyambeko?
Mpola mpola.
Kale. You're still watching Life Stories, ladies and gentlemen, as I listen to Herbert tell his story, tell this very heartbreaking situation that he had to go through. I ask myself a question that I need to ask you too. You say you love that woman and you say you love that man with all your heart. But in case whatever happened to Herbert happened to them, would you still love that woman? Would you still love that man? You need to have an answer as we continue with the story of Herbert Mboa. You're still watching Life Stories with me, your host Justine. Joining us on the show is Counsel Fiona Mirembe. She's going to be giving us the legal point of view as regards the safety of employees at work and the duty of the employer towards the employee in the event of danger. Counsel, how are you doing?
I'm good, Tina. How are you?
You look very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, Counsel, what are the rights of the employee that were put in place to ensure safety of the employee at the workplace?
The rights of the employees at work are catered for under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. They are geared towards ensuring that the employer provides a good working environment for the employee. What are those? If I'm working, for example, I'm engaged in hazardous activity, for example, I lift heavy metal, I'm supposed to be given protective gear. They are geared towards employers to make sure that an employee has a reasonably good working environment. How? The employer is responsible at making sure that the working place for the employee is free from pollution. Generally, these rights or duties of the employer were put together to ensure that the employee has good working conditions at work, basically that.
All right. So, Counsel, are there any duties that the employer has towards the employee in case the employee gets into any kind of danger at the workplace or in the line of duty?
Okay, yes. Now, these duties will be, they come, let me say, they will be dependent on the kind of work the person is doing. For example, if my work involves sitting in an office, I wouldn't expect the same duties from my employer as someone who is working in a mine or something.
It depends on the circumstances.
Yes, exactly. So if my work is heavy, I demand protective gear. The law does not expect me to sit in an office which is full of pollution or anything. Basically, depending on the kind of work, the person is supposed to be given a clean and habitable environment that is conducive for them to carry out work.
So, I mean, in the event of danger, like what happened to Herbert, he was a victim of a building fire where he was a night watchman.
Yes.
So what happens? Does the employer have a duty towards an employee who has gotten into any kind of danger while in the line of duty or while doing the work that the employer assigned them to do?
Yes, they do. And this duty, because we cannot tell the employer to bring back the life of the person, legally no. But then they are supposed to compensate this employee or their family that died as a result of that. And usually what employers do, they get insurance cover for these people. So as a family of the person who has passed away as a result of the fire, please go and demand for your compensation from the employer because you're covered under insurance. If you're not, then go and approach your labor union if you're chance to be attached to one. Usually they negotiate, they push for negotiations most of the time. So negotiate and maybe come up with a figure that is supposed to be covered to cover your expenses, maybe loss of life, that is calculated under the law.
In the case of injuries, minor or major, what is the take of the law on that?
Usually injuries still, it's compensation. You go and approach your employer and ask for compensation for injuries. These compensations are calculated. People don't think lawyers actually calculate, but they calculate. If I've got an injury and it has only taken my small finger, that will be less compensation. If it has taken the whole of my arm, there will be still compensation. The compensation is calculated according to how much you're going to lose as
how
a
much
result.
damage has occurred.
Yes, as a result of that injury.
What happens when the employer is not willing to be cooperative, is not willing to attend to the employees' queries in case they got into danger in the line of duty?
I'm thinking that's very, very unfair because if I'm working for you, you have a duty to make sure that I'm safe at my workplace. If you refuse to pay me, then as I said, usually in law we push for negotiation. Go to your employee and negotiate. If the worst comes to the worst, then definitely there is no choice. You have to go to court and then court will determine how much money you're getting out of this and how you're going to, what recourse do you have in that kind of situation.
Are there any other authorities that the employee can go to, especially for those in the villages? Can they go to the LC ones? Can they go to the labor unions? Are there tribunals? What are they supposed to do?
Okay, let's get an example of the villagers. They do not, actually some of them do not even know their rights. But usually, the law council, there is someone there to help. Go and talk to them and tell them, this and this has happened to me.
The local council?
The law council, the law council.
Okay.
Usually there is aid to indigent persons and all that stuff. You do not have the money, but you're claiming compensation. Go to them and tell them, how do I do this? Or go and talk to a lawyer. If you cannot find a lawyer, there are labor unions. Go to your labor union and say, I have got this and this as a result of my work. However, if the labor union, usually the labor unions are going to be able to push for a settlement for you. However, if they are not going to be able to push a settlement for you, I advise you, get your lawyer, go to court.
All right. Thank you, Council, for being on the show. Thanks for the advice. You just heard from Council Fiona Mirembe. So viewers out there, you now know your rights. You know what to do in case they are breached. We shall be right back in a short moment.